Welcome back to the Level Up Russellville podcast. Today, we're not joined by a guest, but going back to the old school format of audio only. Now, we will have more guests in the future. In fact, we're lining up one of our highest profile guests yet. Really privileged to have this person on and talk about some important things in Russellville. I'm going to kind of keep it under wraps for now. And overall, the feedback to what we're doing here at Level Up Russellville with the podcast, with the content, with the videos has been overwhelming. Like, it's really cool to hear all the positive stuff people have to say. Walked into a business the other day, and the dude was just stoked I was there. He's like, "Your videos are cool," and that meant a whole lot, you know. Um, and I want to share something with you. Like, during this whole process of making these videos, making these podcasts, I've doubted posting things many times. I thought, like there still is that element of, do I really want to do this? It's putting myself out there, being vulnerable, putting myself up to critique, criticism, hate, just embarrassment in general. And yeah, it's going to result in those things from time to time, but, definitely it's working out. So if you're doubting yourself, go for it, make the move. Um, yeah, that's really what I wanted to share with you in the beginning part here. Now, the main topic of today's podcast is going to be for that business owner with a proven business model. That entrepreneur that knows their product, their service is good, but they're really maybe struggling to scale, or they just want to make more money, right? That's not a bad thing at all. The biggest thing that businesses in the Arkansas area, especially Russellville, are lacking is a sales funnel. Now, maybe you've heard that said before, maybe you haven't. What is a sales funnel? We're going to talk about all this today and how you can actually build automated systems, right? Systems that do not require you to constantly oversee them and put in effort and deliver revenue, right? Leads, whatever it is that makes your business go forward. And it doesn't have to be as hard or crazy as you think it is. So a sales funnel is a fancy word marketers use or salespeople use to talk about the buying process your customer goes through from the time they very first hear about you. Maybe that's word of mouth. Maybe they see an advert on Facebook. They see a video. They just drive by, see you, whatever it is, to the time they are making a purchase and purchasing again and again and again. So it's very important to think about that process and how you can tweak things. Maybe you've tried running Facebook ads before and you didn't really see any results, or maybe you did for a while and then it dried up. For whatever reason, you don't have a way to predictably bring in customers. So we need to take a look at the top of the funnel, the place where people will learn about you for the very first time. A lot of businesses don't have anything in place, aside word of mouth. They don't have a predictable way to get people to hear about them. And what I've started to test and what you can see on Facebook, on the Level Up Russellville channel, on pages like Paradise Valley Skydiving, is using videos. Using content is what I like to call it. Videos, short videos that are not hard to make at all. In fact, you probably have everything you need to make your next 5 videos that are going to go like locally viral and bring in the next, 100 customers through your door, right? You have everything you need right now, probably just on your phone, but you haven't implemented it yet. And frankly, if you were to just implement it without giving thought to the rest of the sales funnel, it probably wouldn't be effective anyways. I made a post on Facebook asking or telling people that we have 2 more slots for strategy sessions free this month with businesses. Basically, we can work with up to 2 more businesses this month before we just are out of bandwidth, out of time. The team can't handle anything else. And people were commenting, like the names of businesses and whatnot. And there's a few businesses that caught my eye. One of those businesses was a building business, like they sell buildings, right? They have an established, proven model, right? They have case studies. They have sweet drone footage of the buildings they make. They have, an okay website set up to kind of just like tell people who they are and what they're up to. But they're not really putting in any digital effort on social media to capture more attention. And the way that I would do that, if I was working with them, is take the drone footage they already have, take the footage and the pictures they already have of their builds, and give those voiceovers. You can see excellent examples of this on Level Up Russellville's page or Paradise Valley Skydiving. They're, someone we work with very closely in the area. For example, with Paradise Valley Skydiving, I have hundreds of gigabytes of videos that they've recorded, all of their jumpers. I jump there quite a bit. Hundreds of gigabytes, maybe more, of skydiving videos. But we weren't doing anything with them, like skydiving videos in and of themselves aren't that interesting. They're not that shareable, right? There's a lot of like boring parts of a skydive that don't look good on camera that are really fun to do in person. But when camera, it's like, yeah, and especially the skydiver, you see it, and you're like, I've seen this, 500 times at this point. What's up? Um, so what we did was we took a voiceover of the drop zone owner, Steve, talking about kind of like the progression in skydiving, and then just matched that up to some of the footage we already had. Gave it a quick, like music beat in the background from a website subscription service that you can pay $10 a month for and have unlimited music. Now, I say this like a TV, let me take a step back. We've been doing this, people on my team, myself, the other editors, for, collectively probably 2 or 3 decades at this point. So it's very quick and easy for us to do because we've spent decades learning this craft. It can still be accessible for you too. It may take you a bit longer. Don't feel bad if it does. That's my point. It's going to pay off. Because that very first video we posted for Paradise Valley Skydiving has like over 12,000 views. And a lot of those views are local people, especially people in the skydiving community that are looking for places to jump. So let's go back to this building business. I think they were called Andy's Custom Buildings. Apologies for butchering that. I don't know anyone in the company, but looking at what they have a lot of video assets that look good, a lot of really solid drone footage, and honestly, some pretty solid editing skills. I could see some transitions in there that showed me whoever made this video, whether it was a marketing partner or someone in-house for them, knew what they were doing when it came to making that long-form, like, portfolio piece of content. The problem with that is a great middle of funnel thing, right? Let's talk about that before we get into that. Top of funnel is that thing that brings people in, that thing that sparks interest. The middle of the funnel video is the meat of your brand, the meat of your business. So the next video we posted for Paradise Valley Skydiving had a fraction of the views, but it is starting to establish the meat of the brand, telling the stories that maybe aren't as, quote unquote, like viral worthy. Maybe it's not as engaging of a clip, but it really does a lot to take that customer that's already interested, that prospective customer, and continue to nurture them throughout the process, get them to learn more about who this is really for. So it's okay to have some content that isn't, trying to hit top of funnel focus and really become this widespread thing. It builds out the meat. It shows the portfolio. It shows what this company is really capable of. But at the same time, if the owner of that company maybe sat down with one of their employees or a customer for just 5 or 10 minutes and spoke about some things in a strategic way, they could build some really interesting top and middle funnel content that could result, and very likely would result, in leads and sales, right? Because you have to think about it, especially around here, nobody else is doing this. Nobody's caught on yet. It's not that, this is some new thing. It's just Arkansas is behind the curve on this one. It is. And that is why I've shifted my focus entirely to the local Arkansas market. It's a blue ocean right now. And the companies that take advantage of this now rather than later, we're already seeing results. We are. And we're just at the beginning of this. Maybe it's something you're listening to this as a business owner and you don't have time to do this. You don't want to necessarily hire someone and train them to do it. You can reach out to someone like myself, Level Up Russellville, and we can talk about that, how we might implement some of these strategies. What a strategy session is for us is sitting down, taking a look at your brand, your business, your assets, your situation, developing a unique strategy of how we would move forward. And then you have that strategy, right? You'll have it no matter what happens in that call. If you decide to work with us or not, that strategy is now yours, and you can go implement it with your team immediately. And these are market-proven, battle-tested strategies that are working all across the world in local and global markets, custom tailored for your Russellville or Arkansas-based business. Just kind of give you a status update of what we've seen so far come from this Level Up Russellville movement, I guess, this channel. We've had probably close to 10 podcast guests at this point, which really, I feel like that number should be higher. So that's going to be a focus of mine to be more consistent with that. Probably put on a weekly schedule of one week with clips. So the podcast is not enough to do. Simply, but if you have a podcast and you're trying to have an impact with that podcast, whether it is a social impact or whether it is a business impact, in which case we're trying to do both, you are doing yourself a major disservice by not clipping that podcast, taking the highlightable moments, making them digestible short form content and posting them on the regular. You're doing yourself a massive disservice because that is the top of funnel content. Your podcast is not top of funnel. It's middle or bottom of funnel. The only person who's going to be listening to this, honestly, probably 10 to 20 minute podcast at this point is not someone that's just discovered us. It's someone that's seen what we're doing. You've seen our videos before. You like what we're up to. Maybe you know me personally. Maybe you don't. Maybe you want to. If so, reach out. We can definitely try to meet as many new people as I can this year. That's who you are listening, realistically. I can see the stats on these episodes. Our top episodes get 100 to 200 listens on Spotify, which is great for where we're at on Spotify. I expected much less. But then those clips from the same podcasts are raking in thousands of views, being shared and actually having a real impact on our guests, getting them more business because they are digestible, they are engaging, and we would be doing our guests a disservice by not doing that with the content. And you very likely as a business owner have plenty of content sitting there that you've made at some point, you've invested in, whether it was your time or your money. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need to put that in front of the right people at the right time. And if you don't know how to do that, definitely reach out. My email is tal@highdesert-media.com. Or you can just reach out, message the Facebook, the Instagram. We'll see it. We'll reach out to you. Or go to leveluprussellville.com. Any of those things, you can contact with me. I'd be more than happy to just sit down with you at no obligation to you, no cost. Talk about, what you can do to, grow your business. Another thing I'm really looking forward to doing this year and into the next year is helping certain people establish themselves in the creator economy. Now, let's talk about what the creator economy is. It is a way of decentralizing knowledge and selling your experience, essentially. There's many, many people that could benefit from this. For example, say you want a martial arts gym. You could be selling online courses to accompany your knowledge. Or maybe you have a private podcast that you support via Patreon. There's so many different ways you can do this, but courses are a big one, making digital courses. If you have those skills, maybe you're a carpenter, you build things, right? You're an expert at what you do in your particular niche. The more niche you can go with this, oftentimes the more profitable you can be, right? If you know how to make the best harmonica in the world, and that's a niche that people are interested in, make a course on them. And now you don't have to teach people one-on-one. Now you can make money people all across the world and in your local area. So if you fit that description, if you're someone that's an expert at what you do, or you know someone and you can see that as another revenue stream they could be tapping into, just reach out to me, tell me about them, and we'll go approach them together and see if that's really an opportunity that would make sense for them, right? Help them create that course, or maybe just give them the building blocks they need to do that too. But I think one of the big reasons Level Up Russellville has been successful so far is because it's not about us. It's not about Tal. It's not about the team. It is about elevating other people, leveling them up, right? Giving them a stage, sharing their stories. And I think that's a big part of what's going to drive our success into, the next year, is just focusing on other people, putting others first, putting the community first. Very few people seem to understand in the world. That's how you succeed. Focus on others, learn from people, I'm not delusional. It means like what we're doing is, God's gift to the world or anything crazy like that. I think it's just something that's been lacking in the area. And I'm really excited about the future. If you're listening to the long form version of this podcast, you need to go check out the Level Up Russellville page after this is posted, maybe after a few days, because even this piece of content right here that I've only spent 20 or 30 minutes into, we're going to clip up, right? We're going to take a moment or two of this podcast and make it into a piece of content that is going to drive opportunity. And that is what we're all about right now. Speaking of opportunity, the thing that I want to leave you with on this podcast, I want to ask you for help. I want to ask you if you know anybody, number one, that could benefit from having a sales funnel, an automated way, driving and growing their business. Let us know who they are. And then I'll personally check out their business. And if I think there's an opportunity here we can help with, I'll reach out to them, or we'll work that out together. Not reaching out to just anyone. We've already been recommended hey, you should go look at this business. And I check them out. And it's not that the business is bad, but maybe I'm not convinced we could help them. I'm not going to waste anyone's still. I want to make sure there's a clear opportunity, clear value that we can give, even if it's just us giving value, right? We're definitely okay with that. Number two, if you're aware of any spaces in Russellville that could host a podcast, since we are growing quickly and we're needing more and more space, and the space we're currently using is a shared space hosted by the Brainstorm Agency. Big shout out to Emily Young. Love what her and her team are doing over there, but they have their own operation going. So as we're both growing, we're going to need a new space very, very soon to host a podcast in. So maybe you have a space, an empty room in a business, or I know there's a few studios out there in Russellville that we're trying to get in touch with and see if there's opportunity there. Let us know. We can talk about that. And then, if you know of anything, just holler at us, basically. Anyways, to wrap up the episode, I just want to say thank you for listening again. Looking forward to the future of the podcast, future of the channel, future of Russellville, as a lot of new, just fresh voices join the fold. And one more thing. I met two guys at the gym the other day, and it got me pumped up because they're young, like me. I'm 25 years old. They're just about my age. I think they're maybe 20, 21. Young voices that, we talked to them about what we're doing at Level Up Russellville. They were pumped by it. I'm excited by that my generation cares. Because honestly, guys, like my generation historically has not cared about Russellville, most of us, because it's been mismanaged. It really has. The community has been stifled by so many people. It's not a generational thing, but it is also a generational thing. It's been stifled by, just people not doing things. People just wanting things to stay the same, not being accepting of new voices in the community. So to see that kind of start changing, it's really, really cool. I think there's a big untapped Latino market around here. There really is, like content for them. Now, that being said, maybe I just haven't seen it because I don't speak Spanish. But if you speak Spanish, I want you to know what we're doing with Level Up Russellville could easily be duplicated, put into Spanish, right? Massive market with such a big community, and they've been massively underserved, I think. But again, maybe I'm just not in the loop on that. And if that's you and you're someone like me, speak Spanish, you're part of that community, and you want to learn how you can start doing something similar, reach out. Or even if it's just a different business that's serving that community, reach out. I'd love to talk to you about that. All right. Thank you for listening. Catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.